I'm Ezelle from the Upcoming. It's lovely to speak to you today. Congratulations on this lovely film. um,
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a remake of the film of the same name from 1984. Were you kind of familiar with it before, or was it something you went back into, sort of get a vibe from it once you'd come on board with this project?
Yeah, I was familiar with the film. It was actually like I had this crazy thing where a month before they sent me the script for this movie, I was in Quentin Tarantino's theater in Los Angeles called the New Beverly. He's got this great old theater where they play movies, old movies. And I saw a midnight screening of the original Silent Night, Deadly Night. And it was like the greatest audience experience. It was super interactive and a lot of fun, and I sort of like had that in the back of my head still, and I got the email for this movie. So it was like this weird month later, there it was crazy.
What did you think when you got the script and you read, for Billy, and then thought, what was it about it that made you want to come on board? And then how did you kind of prepare for that? Because he's quite a subtle serial killer, and you don't really look like one. You've got like teddy bear eyes. You look like butter wouldn't melt.
Yeah, I feel like so. I think like as far as like the reason I wanted to do it was like I think Mike did this really interesting thing where it's like the original you don't really get to know anything about Billy really. You sort of get a window into it, but to sort of open the can of psychology with Billy, and knowing what's going on in there, and then having that internal conflict, and knowing that he's just sort of like your everyday guy that's looking to settle down or whatever that is, but having this like insurmountable thing that he has to deal with every Christmas season. I think it was like this the setup of that conflict, and the amount of heart it had and the amount of humor it had. I sort of fell in love with that script, and I fell in love with Mike, and I really just had to go and do it. I think the more you focus on the sort of like human side of the person, the easier it is to slip on the suit and leave all that behind, and sort of go to a more mechanical place, I guess.
Obviously, you work really closely with your character, Pamela, played by Ruby Moday. What was that like, building that relationship on screen? And what do you think in the script was that turning point for Billy where he started to trust her and it changed from something platonic?
It's such a fun thing to put in this movie, and it sets up everything so well. I mean, there's even the car scene later where he's having to fill her in and admit to all this stuff he's done, and the excitement he feels in not being in his loneliness and knowing this stuff about himself, and this sort of overflow of information for her and watching her react to that. I think like that was in my head even doing the scenes where we're meeting for the first time, where I think Billy's biggest attraction to Pam is that she's not hiding herself, and he is. And so it's like I think he just sees a lot in her that he really wants, which is the I mean, he can't, but this sort of ability to live openly and let people see yourself. I think that's really what Billy sort of falls for. And then working with Ruby was just so fun. Like me, her, and Mike we would just laugh so hard all the time. Yeah, it was a riot. She's so good.
What's really nice about it is this kind of unique tone where you do have elements of humour running through it, but really that it changes into a rom-com sometimes as well.
Yeah.
So unique in this genre, I don't think.
Yeah, I think I really like it. I mean, the thing that sort of always stuck out to me was like if we can sort of make it feel like a Hallmark romance in the middle of this 80s slasher film, that's something that I think is new. I think people will want to experience that and will walk away being like, that was really interesting. And yeah, it's definitely like it's Mike's mind. He just does these things, and I'm like, of course, it's so smart, so fun.
What was it like working with Mike Nelson as well? The filmmaker and the director. And did he give you kind of some creative freedom to play around a little bit with your character?
Yeah, for sure. Also, Mike was basically my scene partner for most most of the movie because I have this voice in my head. And of course, that actor was not there that day. So it was mostly me reading with Mike. Great actor, by the way. Mike's one of those directors that comes over and he's like, hey, you should maybe try it like this. And then he'd do it. And I'd be like, you should do this. You're really good at acting. You should be here right now doing this. Yeah, working with Mike is so much fun. He's like, he brings so much heart to it. He knows exactly what he wants. He's just a really smart filmmaker, but also knows how to keep the set light and active. Yeah, as far as like giving me room to play Billy, I think we both had such a clear. I mean, this goes to like good writing, but we had such a clear idea of how we wanted him to be, and to sort of have this internalized uneasiness to him was really important to us. And the stuff we really would mess with is like these looks or sort of voices in the head thing and playing with levels to see how crazy we could make him. And that was really fun.
You've started Halloween Ends and Stephen King the Monkey in the horror genre too. What draws you to these kind of projects?
I've always loved horror. I've loved horror and I've loved slashers. And Texas Chainsaw Massacre is one of my favorite movies. I got into horror like we weren't allowed, like it wasn't, I don't know if we weren't allowed. We didn't watch a ton of movies in the house, but I'm sure my mom didn't want me watching horror films because I was a sensitive child. I feel like horror to me and this genre is like the sort of punk rock genre of filmmaking. And it's sort of where, for me, the cool kids have come out of. There's so many, but Paul Rudd, horror film, like all these John Carpenter's use of Steadicam in the '78 Halloween, like it's sort of been like filmmaking church for me, these movies, and to be able to go into an audience in a theater and feel collective fear and feel collective humor and feel collective hope and then feel collective dread and to sort of have a safe place and go and do that together. I don't think you get that anywhere else, and I think that's really meant a lot to me. But it's also where this is the genre where you get to push the envelope and explore and sort of try something, and these horror people who love horror films go to see movies. They love movies, and you don't get that from every genre. So it's always been a very specific thing for me. I'm very happy to be a part of it.
What do you think is your favourite scene to film? I mean, one for me, obviously, really stood out was the scene where you enter a party full of Santas, and it just goes a bit chaotic, doesn't it? So, for you, was that one of your favourite scenes, or is there another particular one that you're like?
Yeah, I think that was probably my favorite scene. I was two and a half days of like swinging axes at Nazi Santas is never gonna not be the most ridiculous day of your life. And me and Mike had a lot of fun that day. And then honestly, the ball pit stuff, as intense as all that is and as dramatic as all that is, the knife fight and stuff, doing stunts in a ball pit. I hadn't been in a ball pit since I was like 10 years old, obviously, but I felt like a kid again. It was so much fun in between takes to sort of just dive around and play in this ball pit. The thing about horror that's always really surprising is in between takes, there's so much joking around and humor. But that was a fun set. I really enjoyed that day.
Yeah, it didn't come across like that.
No, I bet that's not the energy of that.
I think there's this really amazing moment where you're both in her father's shop, you're working together, and you move an angel about the tree and say it can go anywhere. And then later on, when you really trust her and you built that relationship, you show her your own tree where the angels are everywhere. To me, it feels really symbolic that you're showing her in a way that you're an angel that goes everywhere, and that actually you're trying to get rid of wrongdoers. Is that part of the message of that?
Yeah, I think so. I never want to like speak for Mike on like on a movie level, but like for me, that's exactly what that was. I think it just opens his heart further, and I think for him it's like, if all the good can be everywhere, that's a good thing. You know, it's like I don't think we need to limit where that's allowed to be. And I think that's like a really strong message for someone that's the main motivation is to take out the trash, so to speak.
I don't know if you've ever directed or written a film yourself, because I know you starred in a lot, but having done quite a little bit in the horror genre and taken bits from it and obviously really liking it, would it be something that you want to write and direct and do one yourself?
Yeah, I'd love to direct a horror film. I think I would just have so much fun doing that. I don't have an idea yet that I want to commit to, but I've made a couple short films, so it's definitely down the tunnel, and I think about it a lot, and I would love to do it.
It keeps you awake at night.
Yeah, yeah.
And what do you think that viewers take away from this? Because obviously, and there's humour in it, there's romance, and there's horror, but underpinned by morals in a way.
Yes.
What do you hope that viewers will take away?
It's always I don't know if you should take anything away from the psychotic well-intended murderer. Um I don't know. It's always so hard to speak on that because I never wanted to get like lost in translation. I think the main thing that I'm setting out to do is to entertain people. And like we talked about, it's like the my favorite part of this genre is to have a safe space to go explore those topics and to feel those feelings. So I think for me it'll be interesting to see how people react to Billy the person and then Billy the Killer, and sort of to have that symbolism of the Santa suit, which is a weird thing as well. Like killing people in a Santa suit is a weird head trip. Yeah, I hope for what people get out of this. I want them to go have a really good time at the movies and have that collective experience in a movie theater. And B, I guess it's like, you never know what somebody's dealing with. Hopefully not to this level.
And what is your favourite horror film if you were going to go, your go-to? Or something that kind of made you love
Te-
it?
Texas Chainsaw Massacre is probably my favorite horror film of all time. There's something more recent that Talk to Me was really good recently. I'm just going to throw out a bunch now. Long Legs was great. Yeah, I'll leave it there. Halloween 78 is amazing.
Well, listen, thank you so much for speaking to me. It's been a real pleasure. Congratulations on this. It's fantastic and unexpected a bit as well. Thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.